And we're back. Hey, everybody, it's Darren Carter, the party starter. This looks really sad by myself in a room with the light, like it's really a party. This is wild. Actually, somebody sent this in, so thank you. I appreciate that. I want to do a big shout out to everybody that listens to the Pocket Party podcast, whether it's your first time or you're coming back. Now, today's episode is going to be audio only. This is the only part of the video you'll see. And I want to thank you guys for watching it on YouTube. And if you're listening on Spotify or iTunes, thank you. And anyways, today's guest is Brian Swinehart. I met Brian about, I want to say, between 15 and 20 years ago. And when I met Brian, he had just moved to Los Angeles. My wife and I had gone to a concert. After the concert, we went to Bob's Big Boy in Burbank. You know, that famous diner? And Brian was a waiter there. He was a waiter at Bob's Big Boy. And he goes, "Hey, I heard," he goes, "you're Darren Carter. I recognize you." And he told me, you know, like, he recognized my comedy. At that time, I was on BET a lot, Comic View BET and Comedy Central. Friday night videos, all that good stuff, and I go, well, he goes, hey, I got my comedy on tape. He actually had a VHS tape. He goes, I'll be right back. So he goes to his car, comes back, whips out the VHS tape out of his Bob's Big Boy apron, hands me the tape, and I was like, oh, thanks. And as a goof, I told my wife, I go, you know, I'm gonna watch it. You know, it's almost like if somebody takes that time to do that, why not? It'd be like if you're a rapper and you're kind of a little bit more known than somebody else, and they're like, come on, man, listen to my hip-hop album, give it a listen. It's like, you know, why not, right? It gives me a VHS tape, and I watched it, and I saw a lot of potential. You know, he's not doing any of that material now, thank God, but I saw potential, and we kind of hit it off after that. Anyways, this guy is he plays by his own rules. I don't really know anybody like this, at least this time in my life. So I thought it'd be fun to have him on the podcast. And you know, imagine you're 41, no wife, no kids, and you're just like out there doing your thing. That's him. Hopefully you guys will enjoy the stories. I know I did. And let's get into it now. Here's Brian Swinehart. Oh, by the way, if you want, throw a little something on the PayPal at DarrenCarter.com or Venmo. Darren, it's at Darren Carter Comic on Venmo. I appreciate it. Thank you. Now let's start that party in your ear holes.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. Yeah. We all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, listen to a Pocket Party. Pocket Party. Darren.
Pocket Party.
On the line we have Brian Swinehart, a.k.a. Swine Time.
Hey. Thanks for having me, Darren.
Dude, I love it, man. That's it. Now, is Swine Time a nickname you came up with because they didn't know how to say Swinehart?
No, it's just, I think it was P. Reezy to come up with that. My buddy P. Reezy just started, because I was late or something, he called me Swine Time and stuff. And then, you know, back here in Ohio, people call me Swine Dog. So I just kind of nicknamed it, kind of stuck, and then I just started making T-shirts that said Swine Time. And
so our buddy John DeResta, he has another nickname for you. Tell the people what that nickname is.
And it's a very flattering nickname. He calls me the most handsome retard. And
he says the world. He's like, hey, how's the world's most handsome retard doing? And I'm like,
yeah, the world's most handsome retard.
Yeah.
I said,
and by the way, I told my wife that, and she's like, well, you're the second. I was like, damn. So here we are, a couple of handsome, doing podcasts right now.
Yeah.
Hey, you've had a movie made about your life. You've done a lot of exciting things. To start out the show, I want you to tell the people, this guy always has adventures, guys. That, for some reason, things happen to you that don't happen to anybody else. Tell us about the time recently you were at a truck stop bathroom in the bathroom stall.
Okay. So I was in the stall of the bathroom, and my dog, I take my dog everywhere, so I bring him in the bathroom, but I'm always sitting in the car. And I'm sitting there, and my dog goes over to the stall next to me. And the guy in the stall next to me starts petting the dog. What a cute dog this is.
Dude, I'm gonna stop you during this story, and so you're in the bathroom stall. There's a dog in the stall with you. What did you think?
He's on a leash.
He's on a leash.
He's on a leash. Obviously, I got him on his leash.
So, what did you think when your dog crawled underneath the barrier and went to the other stall? What were you thinking?
Maybe I'm speaking this one up. I don't know. But, that's just how dogs are. They're just explorers. They're in the bathroom, So he goes to stall.
So what happened when he went to the other stall? Were you trying to yank the chain and be like, buddy, come back here. Come here, boy.
I was trying to keep him in my stall, not to bother the dude next to me, right? But the guy starts petting the dog. Oh, he goes, this is a cute dog. I had a dog kind of look like this one time. That's a real sweet dog. Oh, he's just a sweet dog, and then we start talking through the stall, and he pet the dog and goes, don't mind it. He goes, I don't mind it. It's a good dog. He goes, I love dogs. I said, okay, well, sorry if he bothers you. No, he's not bothering me. Then, finish my business, and they're washing my hands. He comes out of his stall, and, hey, how you doing? We're talking. He's like, what? We're telling dog stories back and forth, and then he starts asking me about my life, and I tell him, well, man, I'm on my way back. I left California. I told him, kind of a brief description of my career, and he told me that he had a buddy that was doing a couple movies in California, and he played a bad guy in a movie, and he told me the movie, but I hadn't heard of it. But his friend in the movie shot somebody and then got shot or something like that. And then and we were talking and just kind of telling him, I did comedy and had to put on hold. And of course, I moved back to Los Angeles because it got so crazy. And like everybody, they've heard about how bad California is right now. And the guy just kind of said, okay, I want my wife to see this, but here, take this. And he reached in his wallet and he pulled out a $100 bill. And I was like, oh, no, I can't do that. So he goes, no, I want you to have it, man. And he gave me a $100 bill, just like that, man.
Wow.
And, kind of crazy.
It's kind of crazy because you said that he goes, here, I don't want my wife to see you paying you or something like that, right?
He's like, I don't want my wife. I don't know if he's just like some generous guy who goes around giving people money. Like, I didn't really know much about him other than, he was from Michigan and I'm from Ohio, so we kind of connected on that, And, but there wasn't really much, I didn't really know too much of his life story. He said he was, I think he was like 55, 56 years old, something like that. He was in really great shape. He looked real young. And
I wonder what other people were thinking. They're like, what did that dude? What the hell? What happened for wanting him to make the other guy pay him $100 when they both come out of the men's room at a truck stop?
Exactly right. I haven't thought of that, but yeah, dude. And some stranger was like, "Yeah, see, it just a wild thing. I guess my dog brought me some good luck there." And,
yeah, that's so cool.
And but yeah, so it was just kind of wild, man. And but he had cash. He just wanted me. Well, I don't know. He just gave me. At first, I was kind of saying no to it, but he was like, "No, I want you to have this, man. It's like, I feel, I want you to have this. You're a good guy, struggling right now." He goes, I understand. And it's a lot of it's the chasing your dream, man. People really. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I wasn't even for sure what his job was. I was kind of trying to get to figure that out from him without being kind of, we still being polite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that is true. And then you told me something yesterday on the phone that made me laugh. You said you pulled into a gas station. What happened? You were running out of gas or something?
So I was in Cincinnati, leaving wrestling practice, and I knew I should have got gas in my hometown. My hometown's like the safest place to get gas. Population 2,000. Half the people in my town are Amish, so it's like super safe. But I was like, oh man, I'm running late. I'll just get gas. And by the time I get to wrestling practice, I'm on like blinking E. So then I leave practice and I Google like where the closest gas station was, and it took me to this gas station in Cincinnati. And I'll tell you what, man, black gas stations are a lot more fun than white gas stations. It's like I saw a weed deal going on. Another guy's blasting music from his car. People are like having fun at the gas station. You know, it was like
that was like the new parking lot nightclub.
Yeah, it was like a nightclub in the parking lot, dude. It was awesome, dude. He got these guys asked me if I wanted to buy some weed, you know, and
I'm curious, what kind of when you say they were blasting music, was it like they were performing music like with instruments, or was it on the radio, or what was it?
Yeah, on the guy's radio from his car, and you know, so it was
okay. I'm curious. What type of music was it?
It was like hip hop, probably some song that's really cool right now that I don't know what the song is. You know, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't old school. If it was Tupac or Biggie, I would have known the song.
Yeah,
so
it was something that was like really hot right now. What about now? See, that's the thing. See, if like for business, they should have like been like, okay, you know, okay, white boys coming in, and then like, what if they would have like played something like Tom Petty, you know, like running down a dream. Hey, bro, you want to buy some weed? You'd be like, yeah, man.
yeah, exactly, dude. If you had Tom Petty on, I probably would have thought the weed felt a little more comfortable, you know. But
you're like, I like this song, and then he's like, here's some John Cougar Mellencamp. Here's a little story about Jack and Diane.
Yeah, two American kids growing up in the heartland,
sucking on a chili dog. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever sucked on a chili dog.
I haven't really sucked on a chili dog. Is that the lyric? Suck on it? Yeah,
I think so. Sucking on a chili dog outside the taste of freeze.
Yeah. I've eaten a chili dog, but I don't really suck on it. You know, I just don't think that would look right.
Yeah. It's it is funny. Like certain things, you're just like, you know, yeah, sucking on a. Well, you know what though? I'd probably suck on a chili dog more than I would suck on a corn dog. I definitely don't see any reason to be sucking on corn dogs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're not big on hot dogs? What's that?
I like chili dogs. I've never really liked corn dogs that much. They're okay, but you know.
Yeah, you know, sometimes my wife will make my son mini corn dogs, and I'll have a couple because I do like that cornbread part of it. But yeah, it's not something you know. I mean, it reminds me of the fair. Like I might even order one at the fair, but I'll never finish it. I'll just have a little bit of it. But they're not my favorite thing.
It reminds me of this story I heard. What happened when Trump was president the first time? He went to the Iowa. They have a thing called the caucus, the Iowa caucus. And you know how politicians they would go here to Iowa to the fair, and they would all wear their flannel shirts, and they would really try to fit in with the local people of Iowa and the fair. So they wear flannel shirts, and there was like a certain kind of corn dog or something that they made at the fair that was real popular. And all the politicians always eat this corn dog. You know, it's delicious. Oh, it's so great. And Trump, you know, he showed up, and he took one bite of the corn dog, and he threw it on the ground, and he said, oh, this is nasty.
Wait, what did he do? He took one bite off the corn dog and what?
He took one bite of the corn dog. So all the other politicians, oh, this corn dog's great. You know, it's like this thing they have in Iowa. All the politicians, you know, they're always like, they want to, you know, please the people that they're in the area of. So they act like this corn dog's delicious. Well, Trump, he took one bite of the corn dog and was like, this is gross. And he threw it on the ground.
Yeah, I don't know, man. See, I think I'd be too much of a politician, and I would just pretend to be like, this is great.
I would too.
Yeah.
I would too. But I think people kind of like latched onto that. I think he kind of was like, you know, something that they latched onto. I mean, it made big headlines, you know, and that was before before it was all starting off. So right away they had something to, you know. But whenever I think of corn dogs now, I think of that situation.
I know.
To me, it's hilarious.
Yeah, there's always something.
But,
It's something. I don't really follow politics too much, but I remember there was a politician that was. They were going after. I don't even know who it was. Somebody for eating a pizza with a knife and fork. And they were like, "Who does that?"
People, well, somebody who doesn't want to get their clothes dirty.
I know.
I mean, come on.
I know. It's funny. Yeah, because my wife made me an egg McMuffin, or I don't even know what they're really called, but I just call them egg McMuffins because it looks like the McDonald's thing. And it's so hot, when it comes off the grill, like it burns your fingers. So I always kind of like just use a knife and fork. And I know it must look funny, like if people were to see me, like, who eats an egg McMuffin at home with a knife and fork? But I'm like, well, it's really hot. It's not hot enough to eat, but it's like too hot for your fingers, if that makes sense.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the news, man, they pick on people over everything, man. So.
I know.
But yeah, man.
Yeah. So what else, man? So you're how old are you now?
I'm 41. Do I have to admit that? Does that mean my career in Hollywood's over? Oh, I guess it is anyway, so I left. But,
no. What the reason I ask is it cracked me up because people, if you want to go back and look at my YouTube channel, you'll see I did an interview with Brian about a year ago, and he was about to turn 40, and he was going to do a wrestling contest. He hadn't really wrestled since high school. And how did that turn out last time? How many rounds did you wrestle at the big tournament?
So the big tournament, and my friend Ishmael made a documentary on it called "I Cleaned My Room," and so I wrestled 2 matches. The first one I got pinned in, let's say 30 seconds. Okay, maybe it was longer, maybe 45. I don't know. I got pinned in my first match within the first minute. Okay, if I hadn't wrestled for 20 years, the guy I was wrestling was the beast. And then the second match, I went the distance. It was a 5-minute match. I went the whole 5 minutes, and at the end of the match, I scored a takedown, and to me, that was an accomplishment, and I'm actually doing that wrestling tournament again this weekend on Saturday.
Wow.
And,
now, last time when you did the tournament, how much time did you train for it? How many weeks or months did you train?
I was training for months, dude, pretty much.
And this time, how much have you trained? How long?
This time, not as much because of the whole freaking pandemic stuff and everything.
Yeah.
How
many months did you train this time?
Well, it hasn't been months, dude. I mean, it's like I'm training this week for a tournament on Saturday.
Oh my gosh! What's your nutrition?
I mean, literally.
And what's your nutrition like?
Yeah. And what's my what?
Nutrition like?
My nutrition's awful, dude. Like last tournament, I took everything serious. I was eating the right things. I was this and that. Now my nutrition, I just was in Cincinnati. I had an audition and I had a beer with my agent, and I'm about to go to wrestling practice right now. So my nutrition, plus I was driving across country from California to Ohio this past week. So, when I'm on the road, I know I should pack my food and all that, but I end up stopping at Wendy's or, Arby's, or eating food at the gas station.
Yeah.
So, yesterday I was wrestling some man. I'll tell you what, yesterday I was wrestling a kid who weighed 116 pounds, and he's like either in 8th or 9th grade, and I was about fucking throwing. Oh, sorry. Can you edit that out? Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah, we'll leave it in, but go ahead. I'm trying for the listeners. I'm trying to keep the cursing down to a minimum so it doesn't get flagged on YouTube because But we're good for now. So what happened? So you're wrestling an 8th grader.
Yeah, I'm wrestling an 8th grader. He's just so quick, and I'm almost throwing up, dude. And I'm wrestling, and it's just I'm out there like, how am I going to survive this weekend? Because literally, I'm just struggling. I'm struggling worse. Like last time, I was getting beat on at practice, but at least I still had my stamina, right? I was getting backed up. But yesterday, I'm laying down there after practice, and my heart is just beating so fast, dude. And it's like, and I hate to say it, dude, because I don't like to mention the word age, but I can feel it kind of catching. You know what I mean? I can feel it kind of setting in a little bit. I don't want it. I don't like talking about that because I believe in your mindset. You got to stay young in your mind, but I could feel the physical.
Hey, let's talk about. Okay, so if people want to see this, because I'm sure you're going to film it. Where can they see footage of this wrestling match by the time they hear this? Oh,
so I'm going to put it up on my YouTube, Brian Swinehart. BRANSWINE.
Yeah, if you guys want to see somebody who is, I would say, uncensored, and I actually I'm entertained by your stuff, man. Go check out his YouTube channel. He is a free-spirited thinking person, as they say, a man with nothing and got nothing to lose. And I think that's how that's how Brian lives his life. And he's had the at least he's filming this stuff, because he would before just live this life, and nobody would they'd hear stories about it on stage. And now we're actually seeing, like, you did something the other day I thought was really interesting. You showed how they're blasting music at a car dealership in North Hollywood. There's all these homeless tents and camps, and and they're blasting music and showing strobe lights to repel the homeless people. And I did not know where you were going with it. I thought you were going to be like, good, they need to play the music, get these homeless people out of here, and blah blah blah. But you actually sounded more like you had a heart and you felt bad for the homeless people, and you kind of met at the dealership.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I've put up a couple of videos on the homeless situation in Los Angeles, because for whatever reason, it does kind of pull my heartstrings. Probably because I've always been fortunate to have, I've always lived in nice places, and,
by the way, can I just tell you this, guys? Listen, when he says nice places, I feel he's being very humble. Like when you first moved to LA, tell us where you stayed in Pasadena.
Okay, well, I lived in this lady's attic for $300 a month. And
it's the world's most handsome sweetheart. We'll say sweetheart. He's like, I lived in a nice place, man. I had a whole attic to myself in the summertime with no windows or air conditioning.
Yeah, that's the thing. In August, she gave me the month of August for free because it got so hot. So, yeah, and I still keep in touch with her. She's like 86 now, but yeah.
So how did you even find? So tell us, how did you find out about that dealership and the homeless situation?
So my friend Justin, he lives by there, and the last time I was in LA, I stayed at his. I crashed at his place for a few days, and it was driving him crazy because they were playing this loud music. And mind you, he's like a couple blocks. He's a street over from where they're blasting this music at the Honda dealership, but it's keeping him awake because it's so loud, right? The music, and they're playing loud music so that they can scare off the homeless people. So there's all these homeless people camped out by the dealership. So they're blasting the music to annoy the homeless people in hopes that the homeless people will move. Well, the thing is, the homeless people, I don't think they're moving from there. I mean, because mainly the homeless people, they like to be up at night and sleep during the day anyway, because it's less dangerous during the day to sleep, and at night some of them probably do drugs and whatever. But so he was blasting it. So, and Justin was like, "Man, I can't take this anymore, dude. It's been weeks." And at first they were playing Christmas music, which I hate Christmas music, dude.
Oh wait, hold up. Whenever we hear Christmas, we have to say the phrase, "And we still celebrating Christmas."
We're done with this interview.
Oh wait, I just got heckled by my son. Hold on. And we still celebrating Christmas. We ain't letting it go.
But yeah, dude, you remember when we did that gig around Christmas time and they were playing Christmas and I hated Christmas music, dude. I just hate Christmas.
I know, dude. I for me personally, I love Christmas. I love everything about it. I love the Christmas decorations. I even think it's funny. That's where I came up with that. And that'll one day be a t-shirt or a mug or something for the show, for the Pocket Party fans. We still celebrate Christmas. I have people sending in stuff now. It's great. It's growing every year. Like if people still have their decorations up after Christmas, then on Instagram, they'll tag me, and we still celebrating Christmas. And it's the longer the year goes by, the funnier it is. Like, January, the end of January, February, end of February. But I get it though, man. Yeah. Now, what about your mom? Does your mom out in Ohio? I feel like she would be a Christmas mom.
Kinda. She likes it. I mean, but yeah, I mean, she's not against it like I am. Like, I just hate Christmas songs, dude. I don't know. They're just so annoying.
What about Baby It's Cold Outside? Baby, it's cold outside.
I mean, I guess it's okay. I'd be totally happy not hearing it again, but I know that
does it offend you? Are you one of those guys that gets offended with the?
Actually, if it's offending people, then I kind of like it. If it's got some of these social justice warriors upset for some reason, then I guess it's a better song. But
yeah.
You know, if there's somebody crying about it for some kind of reason, then
dude, it's funny, man. You are unfiltered. You know, you've okay. First of all, guys, he's done stand-in work for Matthew McConaughey. You've done some print modeling, acting. You have no problem. God, you won the gene. What do they say? Like the gene pool lottery or something? Like you basically are a good-looking guy. Like
I don't know about that, dude. I'm still on Bumble. So
yeah. I mean, you're not at that next level like George Clooney, but you're up there. Like one time, you and I did a sketch on my Instagram, and I posted it, and all of a sudden, women were like, "Who is your friend? Who's this guy? Who?" And I'm like, "Where are these? I didn't even know these people were following me." I'm like, and I was like, "Dude, all these girls." And you're like who? And then you just had your pick of the litter, and then you reached out to them, and whatever happened. But it must drive a guy like, see, now I'm happily married, 23 years with a family and a son, and I love that life. I can't even imagine being single. And what was it like during the pandemic? Well, we still are in it, but in the beginning, it must have just drove you nuts, right? Like everyone had masks. I remember, you see these women with masks on, and what was that like for you?
Oh man, it was terrible, dude. Especially living in Los Angeles, where there's no common sense. These girls out there, they're so brainwashed by the media. I don't want to get into politics, Darren, but come on, dude. We know which side the fence is. Anyway, so these girls are just total nutcases in Los Angeles. I mean, I think in the rest of the country, they're more level-headed with a little bit more common sense. But, they were all freaking out. They were all mad and all this. And I started getting desperate, dude. I said, like, I texted my one ex. She responded, "I told you you'd die alone."
Whoa! Wait! She texted you that you would die alone.
Yeah, she was being funny, but she knew because she knew I was getting desperate.
Because I remember you were telling me that you saw some lady in the grocery store, and you're like, "Hey, I bet you look real good underneath that mask."
Yeah, dude. I think that's so. What I did is I met some girl when I was in Florida online, on the internet, on the dating site. And so, and now look, I know you're trying not to get political on this, but I think we got some scammage going on with this whole thing, man. This is overhyped, man. I'm not buying this thing. I'm not buying into any of it from day one. Okay, so I decided to go fly to Florida, and this was in like late March, when everybody was beginning of April, when everybody was all freaked out, right? When it was at the height of hysteria.
Back when people were spraying their money and spraying their grocery stores, leaving their groceries outside the door. They were like, people were scared to pump gas. I don't know, dude. That first week when everything got really shut down, when you and I were touring, we were in Texas. I didn't really feel it in Texas because everybody was still, pretty cool. Maybe you could fist bump them, and then I would just go wash my hands. But when I got back to LA and I saw in the news and I saw, all the comedy clubs, the NBA, I saw the footage let me just finish this thought. I saw people passing out in China. I saw them spraying the money. I was like, maybe there's something to this. And the first time my wife asked me to take out the garbage, I was thinking, no problem. And then I'm like, dang, I got to touch a lot of doorknobs between, before I get to that trash compactor and then put the trash. And then I was thinking about the gas, and I see people at the gas station with goggles and boots and gloves. And I realized, I was like, okay, I don't want to go that far. Let me just touch everything I got to touch. Don't touch my face, and then wash my hands. And that's kind of what I've done. But, you've seen,
Total mind manipulation they were doing to us. Total mind manipulation. Had us all scared to death, man. They had us all scared to death. And, you know.
Hey, man, you were way riskier than I ever would be, because you were like, hey, I met this girl on Bumble. I'm going to go fly out to Florida, probably hook up with her. And I was like,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, man. So I bought a ticket to Florida, and the tickets were cheap, dude. And I was desperate, dude. So I was like, I'm going to fly to Florida to get some pandemic pussy.
What was it like? Do you remember the line we said? I go, dude, I try to tuck you out of it. As your big brother, I was like, what kind of girl you've never met, you've never seen in real life? She's going to let some strange man hop on a plane, fly across the country, and have sex with her. What kind of girl would do that? And Brian was like, the kind of girl I like.
Yeah, it is.
Dude, I was like, So, anyways, you went out there, and what was it like?
I went out there. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what was it like traveling that in March, like during a pandemic, the height of the pandemic?
It was awesome because nobody was on that. There was me and one other dude on that plane, dude.
And was he on his way to hook up with some girl he met on Bumble as well?
I didn't ask. We were social distancing.
Oh.
But yeah, man, he was awesome, dude. I mean, I don't know if he was awesome, but it was awesome to just out on the plane. And back then they weren't making you wear masks yet. And what I found interesting the whole time, every time I've flown or traveled, the airport people, the ones that are doing your stuff, I get the sense that they think it's all crazy.
Mm.
They all kind of seem to act like, but now it sucks flying because they are so strict. They wear, you got to wear your mask the whole time and this and that. So I came up with a technique now when I fly is I bring an apple with me.
An apple?
And when you're eating, an apple, because when you're eating, you don't have to wear your mask. So I just sit down there until it gets to the core, and I just keep nibbling and nibbling and nibbling.
Oh, and you do that in the airport or on the airplane?
On the airplane.
Oh.
Because you're sitting there for 5 hours straight. You got to wear your in there. So, I mean, what has happened now is you got these people who get a chance to be a little bit authoritative or whatever. They're a flight attendant or whatever, and now they get to be a shot caller. And boy, this power is getting to a lot of these people's heads, So they love enforcing these rules, dude. They love it. It really.
It is a weird time because I don't know if you knew this, but the Comedy Store, I guess, had permission to have comedy shows in the parking lot, and with social distancing and that kind of stuff. And then last second, after they sold tickets, and I guess the health department shut them down. So they did a big announcement yesterday that sorry. I mean, you read the announcement, when you get a chance, but it's just like, it doesn't make sense. Like they can't do that, but then, you might go to like one state over or just a different state, and then they're having indoor comedy shows inside of a mall it's weird. It's a weird time. It's like,
well, they should be having inside comedy shows inside of a mall, and people should be going to them. And the Comedy Store should be open for the inside of the Comedy Store, not the outside. But we know what's happening. Gavin Newsom's owned by China, and he's running California. Point blank. Oh, sorry, did I get political?
No, it's my guest's opinion. I'm just a guy asking questions.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So,
yeah.
So, I mean, California, man, I mean, the thing about this is, man, it has shown how if people got to get the power back, man, because
let me
Gavin Newsom.
Finish that thought, then I got another question for you.
Gavin Newsom's closing everybody else's business, but yet he left his own winery open. So it goes to show what happens when people get, how greedy and how corrupt people can be. And right now we're at the worst state in our whole life. We've never seen a power grab like this. And eventually, I believe that us normal citizens, we're going to have to unite and stand up, and we're going to have to quit getting divided over stupid stuff. And we're gonna have to make a stand.
You know what I was gonna say is, you're a guy who, you're having, you flew across the country, hooked up with that girl. I've seen your videos on YouTube. You'll stop at, you'll do stuff that I think is just like, whoa, like pretty radical. Like you'll pick up masks off the ground. You know, you don't like litter, so you'll pick up with your bare fingers, your bare hands. You're like, who left this mask here? So you do a lot of stuff that I think is kind of gross. You know, like I wouldn't bring my dog into a bathroom and let strangers touch it. But whatever, though, we're just different. You know, I'm not into that. But like,
and then I kiss my dog afterward on the head. Okay.
Yeah. Dude, you and I remember one time we were at Cracker Barrel in El Paso and the butter dropped on the table and then you just took your toast and just wiped up the butter on the toast and just started eating it. So here's my point, people. Brian Hart, I don't know, do you ever wear a mask or did you like when you would drive around and
No. I will only wear, the only time I've worn mask is when I'm forced to and I have no other option.
Yeah. So here's my point. Brian touches surfaces. He touches this. He puts his, genitals in places. He does all this crazy chaotic stuff he has. And guess what? They flew him out to LA. He was on a movie set for I think a couple of weeks. And you had to take those COVID tests, right? And tell us how you tested.
Yeah, I tested negative. I don't have COVID. I mean, I can't have something that doesn't exist.
Well, some people do think it does exist, but I will say this. But what I'm saying is, you're like, you tested negative, and they would give you multiple tests, and you never tested positive.
Yeah, and people are mean, though. Here's the people are mean. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just kind of joking around on that. I don't know yes or no, but I know that what they put the people through is not right.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, I'll tell the audience this. When I knew how you live your life and that it kept coming up negative, I was like, oh, and I'm just touching maybe a gas handle or maybe I'm touching the credit card machine at the local, you know what I mean? So I thought, well, okay, this is making me feel a lot better. Like, he definitely goes way further than most people would. Picking up masks off the ground and throwing them away for people.
Yeah. I mean, when you're willing to fly all the way across the world for some pandemic pussy, you are more likely to have COVID-19. I am having, so most of you guys are going to be safe. It's just, I don't know. I'm not buying. I don't know. I just think that, you got to live your life. I mean, I can't live the way that they're treating people. I mean, I don't even like to look at the world. When I see what's going on in the world, I don't want people to get sick or anything. But, I find that a lot of these people who disagree with me on this whole thing and are saying mask up are real hypocrites because, it's like my old landlady, the 86-year-old lady. She told me, well, I hope you get it because that'll show you that it exists. I'm like, wait a minute. Your side is saying that you guys are these great, compassionate, empathetic people who are trying to save the world. When the reality is, you're all doing it for your own political reasons. You're all doing it so that you can pat yourselves on the back and say, oh, we're heroes. When the reality is, when somebody disagrees with you, you want them to get it. So that, to me, shows that you really aren't these good, compassionate people. You're doing it all for your political side and just to prove to your own self that you're right. And they don't really care. Because if you're saying that you want the person who disagrees with you to get it, to prove that they're wrong and you're right, where's your compassion in that? You know what I'm saying?
I'll be glad when, if we can hopefully one day go back to like not everything being political. I want to see people as people and, I was watching this,
I do too.
You know what I mean? I was watching.
I just want this to end, dude. I just want this to end so that and people that come outside their house so that I can whoop up on some of these people that we're talking trash to me on Facebook.
I think there's going to be a lot of that. Didn't you do a show in Vegas and you said that there was these two guys got into it? What happened with that?
Yeah, there was two guys in Vegas that got into a fight because, of something the one guy said to the other guy on Facebook, and then it was the first time they saw each other and they started fighting. So
what'd they say? Do you remember what was said?
I don't know what it was said, but they had some kind of disagreement on it. So, but yeah, man. So, but yeah, dude. So that's what's going on, man. I'm sitting here. I'm getting ready to go back into wrestling practice, actually, buddy.
Nice. How's it feel, man? How much do you weigh right now?
Oh, I'm just over 175. Last year I wrestled 165. This year I got to do 175.
And that's
everything's going against me this year. Last year I was in a lighter weight class and was in better shape. This year I'm in a heavier weight class and in worse shape. So
when you weigh 175 right now?
Yeah.
And on the day of the wrestling match, when is the wrestling match? October?
The Saturday. I think it's October 1st. I think it's October 2nd, maybe. That Saturday.
Maybe October 3rd. I don't know. But
October 3rd.
So you weigh 175, and the match you have to, and that's what you have to weigh. You don't have to. So in other words, you don't have to lose weight.
Yeah, this year I don't have to lose weight. Last year I went down to 165.
So you're 175, and you were wrestling an 8th grader. How much do you think he weighed?
Dude, he weighed 113 pounds. He told me.
And did he pin you?
No, he didn't pin me, but I took him down because I'm bigger than him by 60 pounds, but he was giving me a hard time. Like, it was not easy. Like, it should be like you just push him over and you're on top of him.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like that, so.
I hope somebody, now, let's say you go into this thing. How many rounds are you guaranteed to wrestle?
I'm guaranteed 2 matches.
Okay.
And, so, yeah.
So you're guaranteed 2 matches. So let's just say you get pinned in the first 10 seconds. Boom. Who cares? You got one more match to prove yourself.
Yeah. Well, I think if I get pinned in 10 seconds, I will care because that will look pretty fucking bad. But
dude, I want this to be filmed, and please do close-ups because I really want to see this. I don't want some small. I do not want it to be filmed from a potato from the parking lot. I want like up close, and I want you to go to the distance. You got to go to go to the distance. You have to do 5 minutes each match. That's considered the distance.
Yeah. So basically, if I win a match, then I'll have more than 2 matches. But yeah, so I could have like however many if I win, I keep going.
Hey, real quick, let me ask you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, how many jumping jacks can you do in a row, you think?
Oh, jumping jacks are easy. I don't know. I should be able to do that for hours.
How many do you dude, that could be your thing. I want you to film yourself. I don't know, man. Okay, let me tell you this. My son just randomly, like, because they're all going to school online. By the way, he's a Hollywood kid when he starts to fire up the computer and go online to start class, he goes, "Okay, mom and dad, quiet on the set. He really does. He says that. It's so cute. But anyways, so he's doing PE, and today they had them do jumping jacks, and they said, "Okay, I want you guys to do jumping jacks, and let's just keep going until you can go. We're going to see who can, go and he told me he was up against beginner, medium, and whatever, intermediate and advanced, like all different ages, all different grades. And he actually lasted the longest. He did 1,030 jumping jacks. 1,030.
Oh, jeez.
I don't think I've ever done 1,030. And he was all sweaty, because when I saw him, me either. I've maybe done 100, maybe, but like when he was done, you get like that bib sweat, like a t-shirt, like the bib part is sweaty, the back was sweaty. He was just sweaty, man. He looked like he just got done boxing. And how long do you think it took him to do 1,030 jumping jacks?
45 minutes.
15 minutes.
Oh wow.
Yeah. No, I may have to correct that, but I'm pretty sure that's what he said. He said 15 minutes. So maybe it was like, all right, for the next 15 minutes, let's see how many jumping jacks. And he did it, man. I know for a fact we've done jump rope together, and and he's still at the level where he likes to count, like 1, 2, 3, and we would do 100 and then rest, and then 100 and then rest, and then 100 and rest. And I got him to do 1,000 of jump rope. And I asked him, I said, "What do you think's harder, 1,000? What do you think?" He said, 1,000 jump ropes or 1,000 jumping jacks?
I think jump ropes.
Yeah, that's what he said too, because it could trip, and then you got to use your whole body, and blah blah blah. But
yeah,
dude, that might be a thing. I'd like to see how many jumping jacks you could do. You could do it. That could be one of your videos in Ohio, like, swine time attempt, or I don't know, that might be a video for you. I did 400 push-ups and I put it on YouTube, and I just fast forwarded, like I just sped up the film every 25. Yeah, so they get the gist. Awesome. Yeah, you saw it, right? They get the gist of it, and I'd crack jokes and I'd tell stuff in between, and, so maybe you could do that. You could do, do 100 at a clip and then say something, and then, prove to people, because some people are just, they need motivation, they need inspiration, something to some positive energy out there to let people know that, life is more than just fighting online, and let's get out there and
Yeah, man.
But
Absolutely.
Brian, listen, man, you're a funny guy, and it comes across on stage super charming. You've said some wild stuff on stage, and you didn't, and I'm like, how the hell did he do that? And then people come up to you and they love it, man. So keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully this will everyone can hang out together and we can have some pancakes again.
I hope so, dude. I want to eat some syrup off the table, man. Butter.
Dude, what kind of when they give you the
germs.
I want germs. When they give you the COVID test, how did you take it? Was it that Q-tip thing that goes up the nose?
Oh, they put it in your nose. Actually, they had this Asian lady who I think she goes home and touches herself afterwards because she loved putting that thing up your nose so much.
It was like a little torture. She liked it.
she probably goes, oh yeah, I love putting that up their nose. Oh, his nose. Oh yeah. She just turn it. Oh man, and your eyes are watering when it's done. Sucks.
You know what's funny, guys, is when you're in a makeup chair, they always go like, "Okay, let's go," action or whatever. What? So you guys had to be in the makeup chair.
So now what they do is you got to wear your mask, and then you got to wear a face shield only when the main actor comes on, right? And you got to put your face shield on. With the regular crew guys, you don't need the face shield and the mask, just the mask. Oh, and by the way, they know you don't have COVID because you took the COVID test every day. and then they say, so usually they go, they're about to shoot the scene. They go, final touches. Well, now what they were doing is they were saying, and final touches, they fix their makeup and their hair or whatever. They go, final touches, and then the AD goes, mask coming off. So it's final touches, mask coming off. It's like they're saying, oh, we got a loaded gun on the set. Be careful.
Yeah.
I can't handle this world anymore, D. I can't handle it, man.
Oh man! Well, listen, man. Keep putting that positivity out there. I know sometimes you go a little off the rails, but sometimes people want to hear that. They want to know that they're not going crazy. That someone else might feel the same way.
They can relate to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can relate to it. And if they can't, you know what? They just won't watch your channel. But I do see your channel's growing, and people are, they're loving seeing a guy that's living his best life, and maybe they're living vicariously through you. Maybe they're like, I'm not the kind of guy to, go to the Grand Canyon and pick up dirty masks off the ground, but I'll watch this guy do it. But yeah, man. You sometimes I feel like you have these really wild views, and then it comes. It's. I'll tell you this. It's entertaining. So thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
And I know you got a lot going on, and good luck with the wrestling match. And hopefully we can go on tour again, man. We'll be out there touring and doing our thing, man. And
I hope so, man. That gig in El Paso was awesome right before it all ended. So yeah, man. So
is there in closing, and let's not. I don't want to get political or nothing, so let's not go there. But is there any words of wisdom? Because I'm afraid I'm going to be like, do you have any words of wisdom? You're like, yeah, man, Trump 2020. But I mean, is there any? But don't make it political.
I don't want my career to end. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. Is there any words of wisdom, like something you could, maybe someone that's going through a dark time in their life right now, and they listen to the Pocket Party podcast, and maybe something you could do that you've learned along the way to make people feel better?
Well, no matter what's going on in life, man, go get that pandemic pussy.
No, dude. Oh, I got a great one for you. That was really... Wait, hold on.
Okay. Man, I say, my words of wisdom, man, just keep going, man, and just...
Tell us the story.
Here's one.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm trying to do is just keep, believing that there's, no matter what life hits you, man, just keep getting up and believing that there's a reason for it, that you got a purpose, and also don't believe what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
If everybody else is jumping off the bridge, don't mean you got to jump off the bridge. Everybody else is wearing masks, don't mean you got to wear a mask.
Can you tell us a story about I love this words of wisdom. We'll close with this. In El Paso, I was like, why is everything shutting down? What's going on with like, it was kind of, like, we don't know. And you told me a story about maybe. Remember that? Maybe.
Okay, the maybe story, yeah.
Tell us the maybe story.
So back in the days of the Civil War, this guy, he had a farm. He was a farmer. And he had some horses. Or he had a horse. And one day his horse ran off. And his neighbor came up to him and he said, man, it sure is bad that your horse ran off. And the old farmer said, maybe. The next day, the horse comes back, and he brings 7 other horses with him. And the neighbor walks over, and he says, wow, it's really great that your horse brought 7 other horses back with him. And the old farmer said, maybe. The next day, the farmer's son gets on one of the horses, breaks his leg. Neighbor comes over. Well, that's a dang shame that your son got his leg broken on one of them horses. Farmer said, maybe. The next day, the guys come to recruit his son for the Civil War. And they see the son's got a broken leg, so they say, well, we're not going to take him to the war. So the neighbor comes over and goes, wow, that's really great. Your son doesn't have to go to the war. And the old farmer said, maybe. So the moral of the story is no matter what it is, it's always the maybe. You think something's bad, maybe it is, maybe it's not. You think something's good, maybe it is, maybe it's not.
That's right.
You don't know.
You know, one thing I'll tell you, man, I've really enjoyed spending time with my family. You know, my wife, my different family members, my son. It's really been cool. It's something that, I was spending time with them before, but now you're really spending time with them, and you never know what, besides the love, to look back at 2020 and be like, man, how much time, how much great memories we'll have of that time that we were together.
Well, I mean, yeah, we are. The one thing about this is we're living in a moment in history that's just it's so unique. It's just, I just hope that I hope it ends the right way.
Some people might even say that it is boring.
Swine time?
No, I just played a little sound effect. You couldn't hear it, but it said boring.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That is kind of boring out there.
No, honestly, it really is. It is nice to hang with. And you know what? And I'm picking up comedy all the time because something will happen, and I'm like, that's pretty funny, and I'll write it down. I'll jot it down. Yeah. So, the little things that we're experiencing now. But anyways, Brian, I'll let you get on with your day. I'll let the listeners get on with their day.
Darren.
Thanks for coming by, and I'll be sure not to play any Christmas music around you. And
yeah, dude.
And go start that party in your ear holes. Thank you, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
All right, man.
You got it, buddy.
Darren.
You got it, man. Bye.
We're done with this interview.
Well, look at you. You made it all the way through. Man, what a wild story, huh? That guy, I'm telling you, he's entertaining as heck. Check out some of his videos online. And watch that documentary, Cleaning My Room. Watch that. I'd say watch that first. And you'll get a gist of the guy. He's got a heart of gold. Sometimes he thinks crazy things, but he's got a heart of gold, and he's somebody you could definitely rely on. And he'll go to the end of the world for you. All right, guys. Thanks again for tuning into the Pocket Party Podcast. I'm your host, Darren Carter, Party Starter. And if you want, hit that Venmo at Darren Carter Comic, and all your donations help keep this show alive. Thank you so much, man. All right, guys. Bye.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. We all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, then listen to the Pocket Party.